going to talk about scopes, scope adjustments, click values in relationship to bullet impact. We're going to talk about rifle barrels in relationship to bullet impact. Let's say you got your rifle sighted in here at 100 yards. Some people, that's where they want to sight their rifle in. They want to use the click value of their particular scope as you go on out. Well, just because that setup might be exactly right on at 100 yards, that doesn't mean that it's on at 300 yards or 500 or 600 or 700 yards. For one thing, most barrels are made with a right-hand twist, but some barrels are made with a left-hand twist. So the bullet is turning to the right with a right-hand twist barrel, the bullet is turning to the left-hand twist barrel. As it travels down the barrel, and the bullet is rotating in flight, and the bullet, there's a little bit of yaw to the bullet as it travels down range. If you're going to shoot at long range, you cannot sight in a rifle at 100 yards and expect it to be exactly on as you go down range. You need to take advantage of a range where you can check actually on a target with the particular loads that you're using. It obviously needs to be a very still day. There are not many days in the country where I live here that are very still. Only a few days that you can actually determine some of these things. And while you're doing that, and you're having to adjust for elevation as the range goes out, you've got ballistics coefficient, you've got ballistics figures, and so forth that are given to you. You go to various different sites and determine some of these things. Is that what it's really working out for you? It probably could be, it probably couldn't be. It's either one way or the other. It's working or it isn't working. And part of the things why maybe some of these things aren't working, your scope says it has a 1/4 inch click value. Well, that's figured out here with the machining center that machined those parts in that scope. Has that scope been verified for its click value? Has it been verified beyond 100 yards? Has it been verified at 500 yards? Has it been verified at 1,000 yards? If you're shooting targets or whatever you may happen to be doing, whatever your want is, whether you're shooting targets or whether you're shooting game, you still have to shoot targets to determine what this rifle is doing with a particular load, with a particular scope, to see if that click value actually works out. Is that 1/4 inch click value actually a 1/4 inch, 0.250, or is it working out that it's actually a 5/16 click value? Is it working out that it's a 3/16 click value? This is extremely important for being able to determine and do what you're trying to do. Target, which as I say, you've got to use the target to determine what your capability is, what the scope's actually doing under certain conditions. And it may be such a thing that click value, it might be a true click value. It might work out that it's a true click value, but is that actually what's going on? Or is it that click value is changing because the ballistics coefficient is not exactly what it's told to be? Is that what's going on? One way or the other, you've got to find out whether the scope click value is working to give you what you want, the results that you want, or if that ballistics coefficient is exactly what it is. And to be real honest with you, unless you've got some very sophisticated equipment to be able to determine these things way out range, you're not going to know. But at least you're going to find out what you have to adjust your scope to correct for certain elevation. Now with that said, we've got some wonderful rifle barrels. I use mostly certain brands of barrels. I've used almost all brands of barrels over time. There are certain things about some barrels, certain things about other barrels. Some barrels are drilled and reamed and rifled and the barrels are very straight and they're very stress-free. Some barrels are not very straight. Some barrels are not very stress-free, even though they may say that they've done this or done that. It may have a stress factor. It also may be that that barrel on the particular rifle that you're shooting, and you're doing what I just previously described to shoot at long range, that barrel may be pointed down. The bow of the hole in that barrel, it might be pointed down. It might be pointed over here to the right. It might be pointed to the left. It might be pointed up. Well, just because you got that rifle sighted in 100 yards, that barrel goes like this or goes like that. That's going to impact where that bullet lands down yardage here. Because when that bullet went out of that barrel, it was going like this. It was going down, or it was going left or right, or whatever it might happen to be. You can look down most barrels, hold it up in the light, and you've got a reflection. You hold it into a light, look down the barrel, and if those reflection rings going down that barrel are uniform, that's one thing. But if it becomes kind of obscure, it's a little bit egg-shaped, or it's kind of going this way or it's going that way. The other aspect, when I set a barrel up in my lathe that's set up dead true, center to center, each end of the barrel, I turn the lathe on at low speed, I can look down the barrel and I can see if this barrel's running true from end to end, or if in the center it's got a little bit of wobble. And almost all barrels are not dead true. There may be out only a thousandth or two, and that isn't very damn much, and it probably isn't going to mean anything to you. But if that barrel has got 10, 15, 20, 30 thousandths of wobble here in it, as it's running in the lathe, it's running true here at this end and at that end, but the barrel in the center, it's going out around, it's out of concentricity. That barrel's not a straight barrel. If you're going to shoot at long range, your advantages are a straight barrel is going to be of more use to you than a barrel that it's hanging down, or this way or that way, or whatever it might happen to be. Are you checking these things? Are you determining these things? These are ways to figure out your equipment. I'm simply pointing these things out. Test your equipment. Detailing to you what you've got to do to test these things and to figure these things out. Don't, by any means, work up a load that shoots 4/10 of an inch at 100 yards, expect that to carry to 1,000 yards or whatever, and just simply go by some ballistics figures and never shoot it at downrange. All of a sudden now we're in a hunting situation, we dial it to 893 yards or whatever. We don't know, because we haven't tested our equipment. We haven't tested our equipment, and we haven't tested the rifle for accuracy at those distances. You haven't checked your barrel to see if it's straight. You don't know. I've just described ways for you to look at your barrel. If you don't have a lathe, if you're not a gunsmith, I immediately check the barrel. I'm building a long-range rifle. That barrel's not going out the door for a longer range rifle. If the barrel is considerably crooked, I'm going to get another barrel. We're going to get another barrel that's straight to shoot at longer range, because I'm not going to put my faith in it. I'll put my faith in it out to a certain point. Beyond that, no. So these are various things that I don't think that people are paying attention to. And I think it's important. If we're talking about longer range target shooting, if we're talking about longer range hunting, which so many people want to do, all these things play into it. And it's just part of the game that we need to pay attention to.